Hello, this is Hope, and you're listening to Covert Castaway. Welcome to my weekly diary of what I learn and how I cope with transitioning to life as a liveaboard cruiser. I am really excited to share today's podcast. It's a conversation that I had with my friend Emily, who has been out on a boat for the last year and a half. And I wanted to get her thoughts about what the transition was like and what it's like now for her. I have to apologize up front. This was recorded over Zoom on voice over IP, and there's some spots where the audio isn't great, but you can certainly hear everything. So I hope you really enjoy this podcast. Today I'm talking to Emily Johnson from SVC Odyssey. She's been out now for a year and a half, and she's been out sailing with her partner, Matt. We had a chance to meet these guys about a year before they left, and we've kept in touch off and on ever since when we've had a chance to chat. And I wanted to catch up with you, Emily, because we haven't chatted for a while, and just kind of get your thoughts on where you are now and what's going on with you, and talk more specifically about your transition and what that was like maybe a year before, and kind of share some of the chaos there. Maybe you can describe where you are right now and share a little bit about where you're anchored.
Well, we're actually in a marina presently. That's why I have this really kick-ass Wi-Fi right now, and we can have this really brilliant discussion. But because we were on anchor for 8 months, so this is ending our 8-month straight just anchoring and without marinas. So it ends it today, but it was a big weather coming in, and there wasn't really a good protection spot to go to. So the wind was really swirling around, and we, normally we could manage 40 knots on anchor and feel, almost comfortable. And it just wasn't possible. So we had to, pop into the marina for 2 nights, and we head back out. So presently we are in, I don't know the name of the Gulf, but we're in the western Gulf of the South Peloponnese in southern Greece, all the way at the very top in Kalamata, like Kalamata olives.
Cool.
So there's big olive place here. The olives are everywhere in Greece. So when you're in Greece, you have to be sure to pick up some olive oil.
So It's the beginning of winter. So it's like right now it's November. So is it cold? Are you cold there now?
No, actually, I still got a tan. And bathing suits are during the day. It's been, since this storm has come in, it's been a little bit cooler. So, but no, it's really incredible to be, and I think we looked the other day, we're on like the 36 latitude. I think, what is it? It's 38 in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Latitude 38, yeah. So, so we're not too far away, but the difference is incredible. It's super sunny all the time. And yeah, we were swimming just the other day when we were, in the islands more. So yeah, it's been really incredible weather otherwise.
So when we met you, you were about a year away from taking off, and you guys had downsized from a house into an RV. And maybe just describe what was the thinking there and what was that like?
We just didn't want to deal with, selling the house and getting rid of all the belongings at the time too soon to where we had to depart.
Yeah.
It was just going to be too much, on our plate with everything going on and stuff like that. I wanted to do it a little bit more before and calm down and then regroup and then go.
So just talk to me a little bit about the transition. So how long did it take you from the time you decided to actually get started?
We came up with the idea, and then 2 years and 9 months later, it came to fruition. Mm-hmm. So just over some beers a couple days, we decided this sounded like a really brilliant idea. And then a couple weeks later, we went on a day sailing at a sailing school near us. And then I guess a couple weeks after that, we signed up for sailing school. And then we were sailing ever since.
Yeah.
So we don't have that many hours under our belt, but we had done all the certifications and, sailed as much as possible in that time frame. Okay. And a couple of catamarans. We were pretty new to catamarans.
So, were there general milestones you guys had? Were you were waiting for a boat to be built? And I think you had a job or you guys were wrapping up some things. So how long did it take you to do that?
Well, we could have left sooner, but actually Matt's daughter, it was really important for us to wait for her to graduate and see her off that summer. So that's basically what we're waiting for.
Yeah.
And then it was winding down his business and stuff like that and making sure it was prepared for him, for everybody to work without him there and stuff like that. So that was a major transition.
So what were your biggest fears or concerns in the beginning? And did these change over time, as you got on the boat, or what were the biggest apprehensions you had?
Safety was a big concern for us. I guess it might have been a little bit more for me, but not so much. Just being, how they say, when you're growing up, everybody's really worried. As a kid, you're just like worried about quicksand. You're like, quicksand, is everywhere. And, I'm going to have to really worry about this at some point. And then you wind up as an adult and you've never seen quicksand your whole life. Well, it's kind of like that, this whole time we were like worried about pirates and, different, basically pirates really, having to arm ourselves or like defend ourselves in some way. I mean, you are really out here alone, but honestly, it's not, even though we live in the jungle and I guess quicksand is like right around the corner, it's not something that you meet every day. I guess you do have to be prepared for when you step in it, but it's not something that consumes you like it did before I left. About, escape plans and, what if it happens, especially as a woman, it's more worrisome in a pirate scenario or an overtaking scenario that as a woman is just terrifying. I mean, I just don't even want to imagine, but we all know what could happen.
So that was more concerning for you, like boat security, was more concerning for you than like managing weather or any of that?
Nope. Weather wasn't even on our radar, really. I mean, weather wasn't even really a concern now that we're here in the Med, which is particularly weather oriented.
Yeah.
It's a new thing for us, but safety at night was a big concern for us. Sailing at night was a concern for us. Pirates and or being overtaken in some ways, and safety drowning was a really big thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're all pretty viable things. So it's not like we shouldn't be thinking about things like that. It's definitely drowning, or especially getting separated and one drowns. I mean, and you don't know that person is off the boat is just horrific, and it's with you every day. You have to be really conscious of where your partner is at all times. You set rules up to make sure to minimize, what you can do, what could possibly happen, right? We're not going to go into areas that are, really pirated, and we're not going to, be out on the decks at night when you can't be supervised, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
To ensure your safety and stuff. So, but the pirate things, it's a thing. Immigrants is a thing in the Med. Like it's that quicksand that hopefully you never encounter.
Yeah.
But it is possible. It is possible, and you have to think to yourself, okay, you have to run out the scenario. Okay, well, what if it happens, and what are we going to do, and all this kind of stuff. So you do have to run it, in your mind. You do have to play it out in your mind and make a plan.
Have a plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what's been fascinating to me is, making all these decisions with my husband and coming to terms with what we do and don't see eye to eye on. And that part of it is really fascinating. So, during your time kind of making all the decisions with Matt, preparing for the trip, did you guys see eye to eye on everything, or did it create new kinds of, dynamics maybe that you didn't expect? And how did you deal with that as a couple?
In the transition part, no, we didn't really have any conflict. Everything was pretty much on the up. We had gotten all of our supplies and equipment before we left, and we shipped it over in a cargo ship. And this was the best thing we ever could have done. And to this day, I'm like thankful that we took that route and it was available to us. Nothing really. The transition was really easy. Before we left, it was really easy. On the boat, it's more difficult for sure.
Yeah. So how does it get more difficult, would you say? Just living in close quarters or other things?
For me, living in close quarters, it doesn't bother me. I don't really think it bothers Matt either. I think he likes to get off the boat more than I do. I take it for when it's more practical for me to get off the boat, and or when I want to. But he feels the need to get off the boat more than I do. But other than that, our decision making is super complex. It's super complex, and it's going to be, we could talk a whole nother podcast on, relationships on sailing full time. Yeah. It's not, I guess the problem is there's two types of, let's just say that it's a male driven kind of sport, right? And maybe the wife is the secondary and the husband is the primary on the idea. Maybe, let's just say that. So then this female has a choice. Okay, well, am I going to be an active participant, or am I going to be, just a helper? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So are you going to be a sailor, like woman? Are you going to be a sailor or not? And that's where it happens, because the guy's going to be a sailor. When he comes to the sailor, if the woman's a sailor, most likely the guy's going to jump on board really, really quick. It's the women that are kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. So that woman has to decide, okay, do I want to be a sailor or do I not want to be a sailor? Okay. If she doesn't want to be a sailor, then it's super easy. Everything is super easy. Everything's really cake because you're a helper. But if you want to be a sailor, then it gets complicated. Then it gets really complicated.
Yeah, it's I can see that dynamic already playing out for us, because our theory, for instance, is that we have redundancy. While he's the skipper, I need to also be able to manage the boat
for sure
equally, and so it brings about different dynamics because I think I have a bias that women notice a lot of things, generally speaking. And sometimes, it's like, it's interesting just to see the dynamics play out, for sure. So it'll be interesting.
It is super interesting. But for Matt and I, we're learning how to sail together. So it's not really fair for him to be like, okay, well, I know more than this for you. So what I say is better than what you say, or I'm more, knowledgeable in this area. So we should consider my idea. You know what I mean?
Right.
More.
Right.
We're in it together. So it creates another dynamic there. It's just patience, a lot of patience and understanding on my part that he's new to an area of just not being in charge all the time. And his head needs understanding to being not in charge all the time.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's good. It's good to let that go, because then you don't have to have that all on your shoulders. The stress doesn't have to carry the whole boat on his shoulders, so it relieves him of this duty, and we can share this stress together. Right. So it's kind of like just coming to those terms. It's really complex, but doable.
So how did your parents and your friends sort of react when you first told them? And what was that like? How did they kind of manage that transition for you?
Everybody on my side is super pumped. They already know I'm an adventurer already, and I had a little adventure thing, after college, and so, they're like, "Oh, that's so great! You're gonna have the best time." Yeah. And they're worried and everything, but it's going to be like, happy for me, kind of worried. But Matt's daughters were really hesitant and nervous and scared, and didn't want him to go, and they felt like he was leaving and all this kind of stuff. So it was a different story for Matt. They're better now, but it was tough. It was tough for him. It was easy for me.
So did you get rid of everything when you downsized, or did you put stuff in storage? And like what degree, I guess what I'm getting at is, to what degree did you really cut the lines?
We have a storage. We are lucky to have a storage container at his business. Mm-hmm. So we're able to not, have to pay for storage. And there's just this open container right there, and it's just is empty. So of course I'm going to, not part with anything that I don't really need to part with at this point.
Weird. It's like, I'm going through this right now. It's like, I want to cut out all ties and completely downsize, but at the same time, that thought of not having any place to come back to is a little bit weird. It's definitely a mental shift. And so it's not about like the things, it's more about the mindset a little bit, just kind of making the leap. Yeah.
That wasn't really a thing for me, that whole not having anything to come back to, since I already did that bit of traveling before. It was really just like, getting rid of my Jeep was a big deal for me. It was really just like, wow, I got to get rid of my Jeep. I mean, my whole life I wanted a Jeep, and finally I'm like, free again in my life. And I was just like starting over, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this Jeep, and I was just like, the Jeep was hard. Jeep was hard.
I sold my car recently, but honestly, the thought of getting rid of my bike is causing me a little bit of heartache.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer. And now when I go back, and now I don't have my Jeep, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had my Jeep.
A really popular download podcast that I have is around the financial pieces, and only share what you're comfortable with. But some people like to really obsess over the financial part of it and how to set up plans, and some people are super comfortable just, not worrying about it. Like it'll just sort itself out, and I'm definitely on the worry more side, but there's a lot of people that are really, look, we're going to sail until we run out of money, and then we'll come back and work, and that'll be fine. So did you guys start out with a really detailed financial plan, or just a general plan that you sort of talked about?
No, neither. We are just now actually starting to budget ourselves and seeing, what we can do. Since we've been on Anchor for 8 months, I mean, honestly, the expenses are just food and events that you want to go to, which, the events are not like every day, and you pick and choose which ones you do. So the expenses are just really, really low on Anchor. So we started thinking, we should start saving some money. We are not obsessing about the financials. And it is, something to be mindful of. In any case, we are just budgeting ourselves right now. Cool. And it's good. It's healthy. It's what we need to do. There's nothing more to buy for the boat. Everything is going to be, everything that we have now, we're completely equipped. There's nothing left. So now that dust has settled, we can see, okay, what do we need to live? What can we do here?
Yeah. You mentioned
what we're capable of.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that, getting the container and getting everything ahead of time. And then I know you spent some time getting the boat set up and ready. It sounds like maybe that reduced quite a bit of stress. Maybe you can talk just a little bit about that.
I mean, the only thing I can say, it was the best thing ever. I mean, we bought everything that we need down to cutting boards. And I mean, we even stuffed the little crevices with toilet paper. I mean, just because, it's silly, but it's just sitting in the trailer. Might as well just bring it. But you know what I mean? So, everything, shampoos and deodorants, we got a couple, supplies for that. And then on top of all the equipment, anchors and different lights and ditch bags and tools, lots of tools. Yeah. I mean, we have everything. I mean, out of the gate, we have everything we need, basically. The only thing we didn't have is things that, we needed to pick up along the way, which was a lot. You'd go down the chandlery, and every time you'd come back with a bag full of this screw and, this little thing. But I mean, honestly, the stress was completely gone. This is broken. You go downstairs and you get what you need, and you have it right there. It's brilliant. Best thing we did.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Is to do that. Yeah, I would definitely advise it. Definitely. All the glassware, none of the shopping. I did all, and everything's on sale. We got everything on sale, as you know. We talked about this before. And it's just great because you have 5 bedrooms. So you have to go out there and you have to shop for 5 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms.
Sheets and
it's crazy.
All that. Yeah.
I mean, you got 5 toilet brushes. You go to Costco, you get 5 toilet brushes. Boom.
So thinking back now, what advice would you give yourselves in preparation if you had to do it all over again?
I don't know. Our transition was really beautiful. And the transition in France was tough, but
yeah. So what we all are kind of learning is, you think you're going to buy a new boat, and you're going to get the keys and you're going to sail away into the sunset, and that's going to be that. And I've talked a lot in past podcasts about just resetting expectations. It's work, to get the boat set up in that first year to kind of shake everything out. Do you have any comments on that first year and what you learned, or how you managed expectations or anything like that?
We've been really fortunate. We've had a lot of soft lessons so far. And I think that's just, being prudent sailors and, just on the side of caution. And we know a lot of people out there that just had a really tough time about equipment breaking and emergency this and that. But we've been very, very lucky to have just soft lessons where things kind of broke and, but it was nothing of a magnitude.
Yeah.
Right. No. And the weather has been we've been able to manage a lot of things. We have a big maintenance routine that we do. We have a maintenance kind of software.
Okay.
And in this software, it tells us what to do preemptively. So, okay, you need to, it's time for the quarterly inspection on the winches. Okay. So you go in there, it has a manual all there for us. We look it up. Everything's really great. You put the equipment in there and it'll upload the manuals, So, but it puts you on a schedule, So all this time we're doing maintenance preemptively.
Yeah. What software is that? That sounds great.
Yeah. You're going to want that. You're so going to want that. You're going to obsess over this. It's really awesome. It's, Vessel Vanguard.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm right.
Yeah. It's Vessel Yeah. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't heard of it yet. Great.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. So you get these alerts, these notifications for you to do the maintenance, and you can customize minimally. I wish they would really open up their software for more customization. I tried to talk to the dude about it, but he's pretty firm in his his way he wants to do things. I'm just like, okay, well, Vessel Vanguard, it's amazing. It's expensive. It's not for everybody, but when you have this much equipment, it's definitely good to have. You can upload pictures and notes, and you can keep a journal of the equipment, and you can make your own equipment tasks. It's just great. It's just really great.
Cool.
Make sure you tell him we sent you, and that I want his software to be customizable.
Okay, cool. Was there any, surprises or delights that came to you over the last year and a half that you absolutely weren't expecting?
Delights. I don't know about delights. It's just like, again, that might be another podcast, because when you're out here, it's like, this is your life now. So,
right.
You talk about the transition before. The transition before is nothing. Transition, you should be having a lot of fun right now. And, you should do this cargo thing that I'm telling you about and load up all the stuff that you want, go shopping and spend your time looking at, what is the best choice, right? And fill up your cargo thing and just come here. And then this is when it starts. But your transition should be fun. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be like, freaking out over it, because once you're out here, you're going to be like, okay, all that was for absolutely nothing. Okay. Because you can't imagine what it is like out here until you've been here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the worries and the things that you're thinking about is not, even though a good financial plan is there, but you're going to find out in that first 5 or 6 months, you're just going to be spilling money out. It's just going to be like, bleh. You know what I mean? However prepared your cargo is, it's just going to be, it's going to be sick. Okay. And you're going to be like, what am I doing?
Set up and everything. Yeah, exactly.
It's not, and then your little budget's going to be right out the window, and you're like, and then you're going to stress over that. Once you get settled in and the dust settles and you realize, okay, we're living now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard to say. I don't know how these other podcasts went, but it's really hard to say.
Yeah, what we've heard is, you kind of learn what your new life's going to be like, but it takes some time. It doesn't happen in the first month or 2 months. It takes sometimes a year to figure out, what your regular life on the boat is actually going to look like, because you have to fall into completely new patterns and different, choices you make on how you want to live on a boat. That's kind of, is that been your experience too?
Yeah. And it's all depends on the person, that how you maintain your boat. Like the first, 8 months to a year, we were still learning how to grease the winch.
Yeah.
Everything on this little maintenance program, you have to learn everything. So you're learning how to do your boat. So I don't know how to grease a winch. So we're here, Google and all this. It takes all day.
Yeah.
But now we do it and it takes like 10 minutes.
So you're learning. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So your life is, the whole first year is about learning. But if you're the person that's not really doing that kind of preemptive kind of maintenance, then you don't even know you have to do the winch. There's strainers in the air conditioner that people had no idea that you need to clean out.
Yeah.
And there's a forest in there and it's not even working anymore. And they don't even know why their air conditioner is not working more. But they don't know. You see what I'm saying? So your life could be really easy that first year if you think you have nothing to do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry.
And so do you have any advice for other women, who are taking this on with their partners, getting started? Do you just based on what you've learned, what advice would you give to other women?
Decide what kind of sailor you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Decide if you want to be an active and what you want to fight for, if you want to be, in the conversation or not in the conversation. If you don't want to be in the conversation, things are really easy.
Yeah, it just depends on what kind of experience you want to have.
Yeah. So that's it. What kind of experience do you want to have? Some people just want to be a passenger and some people want to be a participant. Once you get that down, then you'll go from there.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not, my husband, this would be so much easier if I just, flew to the destinations and met you, but
and there are that do that. I don't know. And I think about, and this is again another podcast, so you should be writing all these down. Topics is, the relationship between men and women on a boat. And each one of them is a different podcast. One is a passenger, one is like a helper, and one as a sailor, an active, in the conversation. They're all different.
Yeah.
Interesting though, it's really male driven.
I was going to ask you, I was going to double click on that a minute because even in I did a passage recently, which I did a podcast about. And there are little things, and nothing really, I mean, I'm used to it because I'm in tech and
sure.
But maybe you can share, are there things that seem to be patterns that are out there either in the industry or, in a marina or in a boatyard, that you just would want to give people a heads up so people aren't surprised by that. Other women?
Actually, there should be no surprise. It's the same old, same old. I mean, It is, it's everything it ever was. So there's nothing different here. If you come to be a sailor to get respect, right off the bat or anything like that, just because you're present, then it's not going to be like that.
Yeah.
Yes. You are not, I mean, in fact, I would probably even say it's a step back. And for somebody like you, it's going to be, and for me, actually, it's hard to be patient with that and understand that, if I want to be heard, then it's not about being louder, it's about something else. And it's not actually about even proving you can do it. So that's not it either. It's something that they have to come to grips with, and it has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
But it's like you can do things to like plant the seed and to like, nourish any kind of new behavior, but it's in your face, the evaluation, I guess, from what some women are used to obtaining.
That's interesting. And I don't know if I'll put this in the podcast or not, but I'm dying to ask you a question.
For sure.
Your comeback line, in business, for instance, a lot of women say, if there's really bad behavior and it's in a group setting, what's my comeback line? Whether it's, oh, what do you mean by that?
I don't have one.
Okay.
I don't have one. I think that if my younger self, would have definitely been like, what's up? I'm right here, something like this. But it's now basically I think I'm just trying to open up the minds of the people that are directly in front of me and around me and try to cultivate that. And really, and I can't stress this enough, be patient on the fact that it's not everybody's reality that women are right there, and I'm not going to change anything right there. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
It just comes with like getting older and understanding that the fight isn't right there. You know what I mean? It's not, the battle's not right there. The battle's like, everywhere at all the time. So the way I compose myself at these times is really important. So I don't have a comeback line. If somebody were to say something super sexist, which they generally don't do. I mean, I haven't heard anybody say something.
It's not even intentional,
They just don't even know.
They don't mean to be hurtful, it's, and that's in business too, so definitely growing a thick skin, taking the high road and all that. It's just sort of, how do we make a difference, in the lives that are in front of us to go, I guess I didn't think of that,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, it's just something I work with Matt. Like I said, he's very, as being an entrepreneur who's successful, it comes with a certain amount of like, okay, well, I handle it all. I control everything and I do everything. Right. Yeah. So it just, thank goodness he's a great man, and he's really sensitive and can like see, it's not like he can see it. You know what I mean? Like he sees it. He sees in the conversation that, if you're in a group of people and I ask a man a question, the man will look to the other man to give the answer.
Yeah. I know.
Okay. So these type of things, he's like really starting to notice. You know what I mean? So it's opening up his mind, and it's just, I can't, sometimes we might get, a little aggravated with each other because, he doesn't understand why I want to speak. Do you know what I mean? Like everything that comes out of my mouth is an opinion. Okay. Instead of just being a part of the conversation, which is the problem number one. It's not an opinion. It's a statement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a whole nother podcast. It's a whole nother trip down.
Do that. Yeah.
Yeah. But and then again, it's patience and it's picking the right partner. You know what I mean? It's picking the right partner. And once that's there, then you're going to be able to trickle out to the other people.
Yeah. Exactly.
But there's women making a lot of progress with even the brochures. Something I didn't even notice is that, did you notice on brochures that the woman is always sitting down?
Oh, I know. And the guy's at the helm. And I have seen changes lately. Is that what you're going to say? I was looking.
Yeah.
Was it Hylas maybe, or one of those monohull builders? I saw a brochure and I was like, wow, a woman at the helm. That's awesome.
I don't know, but I was like, I mean, I knew they were, in the videos, and the woman's like, always like sunbathing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's obviously really obvious. But when they're sailing, I didn't pick up on that, and I'm really surprised.
Cool. Well, you have a great blog, and we've been following you, and we know you, so it's even better. But I just want to thank you so much, for taking the time. And then, where can people find your blog?
It is svcodyssey.com. Matt and I are starting a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so that's really exciting. We have like a new kind of format that we're going to play with and try to keep things pretty real and different from what other people out there are doing. So hopefully we can swing it and people will catch the vibe. I don't know. Yeah,
it's cool. Videos are a lot of work, so it's definitely a commitment. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Emily, for your time, and happy sailing out there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can't wait for you to get out here.
I know.
At that first sundowner.
Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, like, or share with another Covert Castaway. Fair winds for now.